Hair is an incredibly important part of a wrestler's overall look and even their personality. It's probably why you can spend hours upon hours getting just the right head of hair in games like WWE 2K. I mean, just think of some of the most iconic, luscious, beautiful heads of hair from wrestlers today or in the past. There's a very good chance that they belong to some of the most famous wrestlers to ever grace the sport. For example, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. The list quite seriously goes on and on and on and on. But what happens if you have no hair? Are you just destined for a life of mediocrity because you can't stand out amongst this line of beautiful heads of hair? I say nah, because bald is beautiful. So in today's video, we're gonna look at some of my favorite bald wrestlers across the WWE and one or two that aren't in the WWE. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring that bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm confident that you're gonna fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. What, this? I mean, I had to get in character. Plus, I quite seriously needed to find a reason to use this bald cap for a video. I've had it for like a year and a half. All right, let's jump into it. When it comes to bald wrestlers, I don't think that it gets more iconically bald than Kurt Angle himself. To be fair, his hair was already struggling to hang on when he entered the WWE in the late 90s, and it wasn't into the early 2000s where Kurt Angle decided to say bye-bye to that struggling hair and give us that beautiful, shining bald look that would become his iconic look for the rest of his career. I think out of all of the wrestlers on this list, Kurt Angle is the one that is known specifically for being the bald guy in the WWE. But not only is he known for being the bald guy, he's also known for being arguably the greatest professional wrestler to ever grace a WWE ring or a TNA ring. This guy is an absolute, no pun intended, wrestling machine. And for me personally, Kurt Angle is in my top 5 favorite WWE superstars of all time. And that's saying a lot because he didn't spend that long in the WWE, but his body of work in the short time that he was in the WWE is legendary, is iconic, and completely unforgettable. He has some of my favorite matches of all time. If I have to pick one, it's most likely his match against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. I don't think that it's a hot take to say that Kurt Angle is amazing and ranks amongst the greatest beautifully bald heads in the history of this sport. The Rock also spent quite some time trying to fight off his bald destiny, his bald future, but over the past decade, he's completely embraced it. He understands that he's got a beautiful, shiny, bald head, and he is letting the world see it. It took a while, sure, and he hung on to that admittedly kind of sufferingly receding hairline for maybe a bit too long, but he finally let the bald come out and play, baby. In fact, I dare say that my favorite run of The Rock ever, and I feel like this is really a really big statement because he's had some amazing runs throughout his entire career, came as he was the Bald Final Boss. The Bald Final Boss, by the way, is a great moniker, especially if like you for some reason run into a gang of bald guys. The Bald Final Boss. Anyways, I'm completely getting sidetracked here. This video is already a shit show. I'm wearing a bald cap. Who cares? Plus, it's Friday. The Friday uploads are always weird anyway. But yes, this final run of The Rock is one of my favorite things that I've ever seen, not just from The Rock, but in professional wrestling in general. He said it numerous times that he was here to make wrestling cool, and he really did. I cannot remember a time where WWE was more spoken about in just the everyday zeitgeist than when The Rock was around for those first 4 months leading into WrestleMania 40. It really was a time to behold, a time to remember, a time that I think it might go down as the best stretch ever from the WWE, and it was all off the back of the people's bald one, The Rock. Look, as of the making of this video, we don't really fully know what's going on with Ricochet. Everyone will tell you that he's headed to AEW, but that's okay because he should go wherever it is that he wants. And he, for some reason, doesn't seem to want to embrace the baldness. There is that hilarious, famous clip of somebody calling him bald on Instagram while he was on a live, and he kind of lost his cool on that person. But hey, Ricochet, it's fine. You're amazingly bald, but more than anything, you're amazing in the ring. You're as good as it gets, bro. You were the highlight of the night. Any single time Ricochet has a match, it's must-watch TV. No. It's not must-watch TV. It's must glue your eyeballs to the TV, because in some way, shape, or form, this guy was going to do something so unbelievably crazy that genuinely defies the laws of physics. And that was just a regular Ricochet match. He did this on the regular. I think that from an in-ring perspective, I would consider Ricochet maybe the greatest high flyer of all time. Obviously, there's more iconic high flyers than him, like a Rey Mysterio, who might actually belong on this list too. That damn mask, though. Anywho's, and I would put him up there with some of the best high flyers of all time. From in-ring, I think he's the best. Obviously, character, in my opinion, left a lot to be desired. I'm preemptively putting him on this list because he's going to end up on this list. We've seen the hair, John Cena, and it's okay. And I'm the big John Cena fan on this platform. And I'm here to tell you, John, whether it's the military buzz cut, whether it's the big comb over, or whether you just want to go bald, I still love you. We will all love you regardless of what hair you decide to bring to WWE TV. But yeah, we all know the jokes. John Cena's going bald. John Cena's got this bald spot. You know what I call that? That's not a bald spot. That's called a stress spot from having to carry this goddamn company through some of the worst years in professional wrestling history. That's what happens when you have the weight of a multi-billion-dollar corporation on your back. That's what happens with stress, where if you have to take some time off to heal from an injury, company stock goes down. That's the stress that John Cena was dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. Let him have his bald spot in peace, for God's sake. Randy Orton isn't bald, but he embraced the bald alongside embracing the menace and the evil back in 2009 and 2010 with arguably, I would dare say, the most iconic version and the most iconic Randy Orton look of all time, which is bald menace Randy Orton. A Randy Orton that wasn't afraid to do some of the worst, most heinous things. It's almost as if his hair was the morality keeping the fiber of his morals together. The second he got rid of the hair, you got like the most evil, most despicable version of Randy Orton on WWE TV. This man was out punting old people. He was kissing people's wives in front of them when they were knocked out. This man was doing it all right? Bald Menace 2009 Randy Orton is up there with one of the most iconic optionally bald people in the history of the WWE. You know, we did John Cena, we did Randy Orton, we might as well complete the holy trinity of the ruthless aggression era and put in Batista. We were close to getting Edge as well, because he did have that iconic hair versus hair match against Kurt Angle that gave us bald Kurt Angle. Who knows what the fabric of space and time looks like in a reality where Edge went bald? Who knows? Maybe we wouldn't have gotten the rated R superstar. Maybe Kurt Angle would have tried to hang on to that haircut. I'm getting sidetracked here. It's a Friday video. It's okay. Batista is also awesome. He's not my favorite of the Ruthless Aggression Ohio Valley 6, but he's still a guy that I very much loved through the Ruthless Aggression era. I also think it's a guy that got way too much hate whenever he would come back from Hollywood to the WWE. I hate this notion that if you go to Hollywood and you come back to the WWE, that you're automatically holier than thou, better than thee, and you have to automatically be booed, when they don't need to do that. Batista was already well off, and he's still coming back to do more stints in the WWE. That guy's a legend, all right? I think that Kurt Angle is the most iconic bald identifying wrestler of all time, but there is a more iconic wrestler who happens to be bald, and that is Stone Cold Steve Austin. One of the most iconic looks in the history of professional wrestling, a look that inspired an entire bald generation to be bald and proud. But yeah, when I think of bald wrestlers, it's Kurt Angle or Stone Cold Steve Austin that I immediately default to. Stone Cold Steve Austin being one of those guys that's on the Mount Rushmore for all of professional wrestling, the biggest draw in professional wrestling, maybe the greatest character outside of The Undertaker to ever grace the WWE, a guy that really broke through the mainstream as well with his chants like "what," as much as I hate those chants, still people still quote that "what" chant 20 plus years later, which is insane. No! No, you bitch, Triple H. You bitch.
Great shot.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my.
Oh my god.
Oh my. Oh, there it is. Oh.
Look at this. That was a sneak peek of this week's SummerSlam Wrestling is Cool Match Club, which is available exclusively over on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're looking at the first ever Universal Championship match between Seth Rollins and the Demon Finn Balor at SummerSlam 2016. The World Championship match between John Cena and Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam 2013. The amazing TLC match between Jeff Hardy and CM Punk at SummerSlam 2009. The famous custody of Dominic Mysterio ladder match between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero at SummerSlam 2005. And we'll also be looking at the infamous 2005 match between Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 2005. So if you want to get those match watch-alongs alongside the Raw review, SmackDown review, the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days early, and more, make sure you check out patreon.com/SantiZap. The link will be in the description of this video or in the pinned comment. Go check it out. I'm pretty confident that if you even try for 1 month, that you're going to stick around and fall in love with it. All right, back to the video. Do we count him? Do we count Triple H? Is this really bald? I don't know. I think you can make the argument that it is, but I think it's more of a buzz cut, especially when he did buzz his hair off in 2015-ish, whatever that was, where he won the WWE Championship and gave us the fantastic main event that was Roman Reigns versus Triple H at WrestleMania 32. I'm sure you love that. But now, man, Papa H, that bald-headed look, that Kratos look of his is so iconic that I honestly identify this look of Triple H more than his luscious locks that he had throughout the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. To me, Papa H is a bald fella. You know what I won't remember though? Bald Shawn Michaels. This can absolutely be locked away in the archives of my brain. I don't want this ever to come out of my memory bank ever again. We need to lock this away for everyone and anyone across the planet Earth. I think that if we were going to do an award for the most unsung hero, the most underappreciated bald man in the history of professional wrestling, it might go to Cesaro. I mean, to be fair, Cesaro, I think, is doing a pretty good job over in AEW. He's being treated better in AEW than he was treated ever really in the WWE. But I just felt like he had so much more to offer the WWE that we never got to see. Arguably the most powerful, most strong pound for pound guy to ever grace the WWE. And he was bald, man. It's like reverse, what is it? Is it Samsung, the mythology person that if you like cut their hair, they lost all their strength? Look, I'm really diving deep here into lore from like grade 7 English class. You guys are gonna need to let me know. Is that Samsung or Hercules? You gotta tell me. Bobby Lashley is so good that even when they tried to make him heel, where they want you to boo him, we won't boo him because we just love him so much. He's so respected. And I think that out of all of the bald guys that are on this list, he might have the best bald look. There's just something beautiful about that shiny head of his that no other bald guy on this list has really been able to replicate. Like, this man is like a shining ball of beautiful baldness. This video is getting really fucking weird. Sometimes you just need to go bald to become the best version of yourself, just like Kurt Angle and just like Baron Corbin. All of the best stuff that Baron Corbin has done, in my opinion, has been since he's embraced the bald, ever since he fully let go of the stress and the weight of that hair. To me, this man has found himself again. He is going through a bald renaissance where people want to root for Baron Corbin. His time in NXT really, in my opinion, saved his career. Now he's on the main roster. I feel like he's being a bit underutilized there, but it's a guy that now people are actually clamoring to see. And I feel like it started with the baldness. Well, to be fair, it started with him going down to NXT, changing his entrance theme, changing his entire demeanor. There were moments of bald Baron Corbin that a lot of us did not like. I personally kind of didn't hate Happy Corbin. All right, bum ass Corbin was a good time, but this current iteration of bald Corbin is just chef's kiss. We talked about underappreciated bald guys. I think Carl Anderson has to be on that list. I'll be honest, I don't like Gallows. He has never really done it for me. But meanwhile, Anderson, oh my God, he is just being wasted away. He's so good on the mic. He is unbelievably good and ruthless in the ring. But I feel like him, yeah, obviously he's an iconic member of an iconic tag team, but we've not really unlocked him in the WWE. We haven't really unlocked his full potential in the WWE. I would love a singles run for Carl Anderson because he is just too damn good to be wasted in a tag team that rarely gets any opportunities. I'm sorry, bro, but I feel like Gallows is kind of holding down Anderson. Tommaso Ciampa might be the best bald guy to come out of NXT. I feel like that should be an award in itself. We haven't really been able to reach the heights of the black heart of NXT over on the main roster just yet. I feel like we could slowly get there with him being a part of DIY. I'm sure he'll turn on Johnny Gargano at some point or the other way around. Who knows? But his time in NXT Black and Gold needs to be studied with how absolutely goddamn precious and good it was. Not only was he the most detestable character maybe in the history of NXT Black and Gold, but every single time he got into the ring, it was a treat. It was always match of the night. And you know what? To be fair, he's still kind of doing that on the main roster. Whenever Tommaso Ciampa is allowed to go at full speed, whenever he's given the time, he always delivers a fantastic match. You know, we talked about how going bald has saved careers. What about the reverse, going from bald to having hair? Let's talk about Karrion Kross, because bald Karrion Kross was pretty much universally loved and feared by everybody. I love this iteration of bald Karrion Kross. I know that they eventually ruined him by putting him in, I don't know, leather sex gear in the main roster for some reason. But his time in NXT, he was amazing. And that bald look to me is so iconic, so menacing. But now he's just a good looking douchebag with a luscious head of hair. It just doesn't hit as well. At least when he was bald, he was a scary looking douchebag with a hot wife. Now he's just a good looking douchebag with a hot wife. I don't know, man. I just resonate way more with bald Karrion Kross. He was always treated best as bald Karrion Kross. He had his best matches as bald Karrion Kross. And there is a fear that he tries to put into his character with the current iteration with him with his full luscious hair that just doesn't work. But it would work if he was bald. He's not a WWE guy, but I have to have Simon Miller on here. Why? Here's why. This man is a beacon for YouTubers that ever want to get into the ring. This guy has done it. He's done the dream that people like me have aspired to want to do, but have never had the balls to do it. And it took this beautiful, bald British YouTuber to take the leap of faith for all of us and get into the ring and have some banger matches. Maven's a pretty good YouTuber as well. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching this video. If this isn't an indication that I'm running out of video ideas, I don't know what is. Okay, I'm done. Get out of here.